your eyeball. Yeah, and so you can see that on here, this small, relatively. Look at how big. Now you remember the couple of nerves that we saw in the sheep brain. That's the optic nerve sticking out the back of the sheep eye right there. It's a massive nerve as far as things go. You know, got to move a lot of information through that nerve. So I'm just going to do this now, and I'm going to section the anterior half from the posterior half, and I'm going to do this kind of gently because I don't want to be pushing on this, because what's inside of the eye? What is? There are humors, right? They're the humors, and you have in the anterior portion of the eye we have one of the humors, which is in the anterior portion. The aqueous humor is in the anterior portion, and in the posterior portion of the eye you have the other, the vitreous humor, right? And the anterior portion is defined as that chamber which lies behind the cornea but in front of the lens. Okay, so that's the anterior portion is behind the cornea and in front of the lens, and the posterior portion is that which is behind the lens. So I'm trying to leave these two kind of separate and intact in their own right here. Yay! The eyes have it. All right. So now if I open this up like a clamshell, we can see the vitreous humor here in all its glory. Okay? And if I flip that out of the sectioned eye now, lying on top of the vitreous humor is a good portion of the ciliary body, the iris there, and in the center of that is this opaque pellet, this little stone that is the lens, and it's really optically clear. It's really cool. I wish I had a fresh eye for you, because if anybody goes fishing or anything like that and you actually dissect a fresh eye, the lens is a functional lens. You know, it's not just they don't just call it a lens for nothing. So there's the lens and the well, it's fixed at this point too. You know, this is all preserved tissue. So
I thought it would just kind of like ooze out.
I don't know. You know, it is. And again, the vitreous here is all cloudy, and it's not something that you can see through. But in a fresh eye, the vitreous humor is crystal clear.
Really?
Crystal clear, absolutely. So then we can see in the back of the iris here, the ciliary body again, and the papillary muscles are not apparent, but that's what hold the lens in place and change its shape. This is how we can focus on things in part. And so the anterior chamber, again, is in front of this and behind the cornea here. And then, so what's the white of the eye? What tissue is that? The sclera. Right.
So what would the conjunctiva be? Is that the membrane above it?
The conjunctiva, right? Let's think about this for a minute, because I can't answer you off the top of my head. The conjunctiva is going to be that epithelial tissue that lines the eyelids, right?
Well, if you think if you have conjunctivitis,
Right?
It's an inflammation.
This is
of the conjunctiva, so
It's not the
the
eye itself,
outermost-
it's the skin around it.
around it in here.
Right.
So when the whites of your eyes become pink, right, that's the conjunctivitis.
The whites. Okay.
Right. It would look, if you've seen anybody who has conjunctivitis, right? So the whites of their eyes are no longer white, right? They're pink. It's all inflamed.
Is that pink eye?
Yeah.
That's pink eye.
so. So the white, the sclera, is the tough portion of the eye, and it is really tough. And then, so in the posterior, so what light strikes in the back of the eye? What is that the light? The retina. So the retina is a very, very thin, membranous, and I'm trying to do this without destroying it. and it might be better if I don't use a tool, but see, there it is. So there is some retina, and it's just this thin membrane that lines the back of the eye. And if we tease it apart, you'll find that it's very well attached. It's very well attached at one point. And what is that point where the retina is very? That's the terminus of the optic nerve in the back of the eye, and I guess we call that the optic disc, right, in the back of the eye. So that's where,
in there.
and that's the so what lies between the retina and the sclera? The choroid. Choroid, and the choroid in a lot of animals is pigmented like this. And this is one of those things that if you shine a light,
like that?
it's not.
No.
It's not, no. But if you shine a light into the eyes of a dog or a cat or a
That's
deer
what
or
it
a
is?
fox, and you see the green or the blue or the,
That's
that's a refraction or reflection from the back of the eye.
So it's always that color.
Yeah.
Variations, variations. But this is kind of unique to these animals and not so much to us.
That's like a way to protect themselves, kind of, right? So you could see them. So you don't
It might be.
car or something.
I actually think it has a whole lot more to do with these animals having a need to be able to see a bit at night. So this is reflective to some degree, and light entering the eye is bounced back in the eye, and so they get more light. For every bit of light that enters their eye, they get to kind of capture more of it with that.
It's gotta have something to do with them being able to see better.
Right, in the dark,
Yeah.
you know, which we don't have necessarily a great ability, or you know, we're not nocturnal at all.
That's so
Nocturnal
cool.
animals